So, Erica, I'm actually going to have you take the lead as we start this 100th episode. Start us off with some laughter.
Okay. Take your finger, either hand, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Put it on your nose
All right. Finger on the nose.
and giggle. Congratulations! You have just participated in your first laughter game of the day. So nicely
Excellent.
done.
So, welcome to the 100th episode of the Adventures in Learning podcast. And we have such a treat for you today. Erica Buchholz, who is the most amazing doctor of play and laughter I have ever met. She is the founder of becomingplay.com, and she is going to be joining us for a big dose of play and laughter on today's episode. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's so exciting to be here.
So thank you for starting us off with a laugh. And for those who are listening, you're going to get more opportunities for that later. But I wanted to start by having you describe what becomingplay.com is.
Absolutely. So I've gone through a whole bunch of nonsense in my life, just like everybody else, right? And I've tried all the things to try to feel better. But what I've absolutely come to over and over and over again is that play is the way for me to feel better, to let go of the stress, and to make better life choices. And it works out really well for the kiddos in my life too. My kids and then the other kids that are around me and that I help support. So I came across laughter yoga, which is silly sounding, but it is merely intentional laughter with the goal of feeling better, lowering your stress hormones, increasing your heart rate and breathing, and just helping you feel happier. So,
And
my
I met
idea.
Dr. Erica at the Play Coalition in Indianapolis this past year. And I was in a room of probably close to 100 adults, all laughing just like we did at the beginning. And these are adults who are in all walks of life. You had educators, librarians, you had doctors, you had researchers, you had people who were all about bringing play into everybody's life. What is the role of laughter in helping us to do better as educators, as parents, as family members, as doctors, lawyers, street sweepers, whatever we do?
Yeah. Play and silliness can be the breaking of the ice, right? It is an intentional tool we can use to feel better. And intellectually, we just know that play feels good, right? As kids, we do this all the time. They
Right.
play, they run around, they make up rules to games and then change them in the middle, and they have a great time. There's not a whole lot of structure, and it works. As grown-ups, we kind of forget how to do that. There's some stigma attached. You say, "Oh, let's join a play workshop" to a bunch of grown-ups, and they're all like, "Oh, no, no, this isn't professional. I can't do this." However, play is really the way of being creative without a lot of rules attached to it. And laughter is a really good way to turn the play on, turn your right hemisphere on, and allow you to be creative. So, laughter yoga is one way of turning on your right hemisphere. You make the choice to giggle, even if it feels weird, even if it looks strange. You make the choice to laugh because it changes your body systems. And also, it makes you feel really good. Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I'm actually feeling a nice little buzz after the laughter we did to start this.
Absolutely.
So, when I saw you, one of the things you talked about that I was really struck by is the science behind laughter and why laughter and play are so important for us, whether we're 3 or 103. Do you mind sharing a little bit of the science for our listeners?
Absolutely. So, um, the laughter itself is great for a whole bunch of things. I think the real moneymaker is the deep breathing that comes along with it. Because when you laugh, ha 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 ha, fake or real, doesn't matter, ha 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 ha, you have to breathe in afterwards, right? And that deep breathing helps reset everything. So you got sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. Ultimately, the laughter resets your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your like rest and digest system, allowing new, good, fresh air and oxygen into your body. A good deep laugh gets all the old yucky stuff out of the bottom of your lungs, gets that out, decreases stress, cortisol, stress hormones, increases dopamine, and turns a whole bunch of other neurotransmitters going the way that they're supposed to give you that sense of and relief. Plus, it turns on your right hemisphere, your creative side. Like, I can't think of anything else that does all of those things so quickly. You didn't have to take a pill. You didn't have to get an injection. You didn't have to, go through something scary. You are in control of that immediately. And the last thing I will say, brain wise, is that your brain does not know the difference between fake, pretend, forced laughter and the genuine stuff. Like, all of these things happen even when you pretend to laugh. And most of them happen even if you just watch somebody else laugh and you don't even laugh. It's wild. It's so fun.
So if you're watching this video and you're watching us do this, even if you're not laughing yourself, you're getting benefits from seeing us laugh.
Yes. Crazy.
That's amazing. And I know you offer on the Becoming Play website, there is an opportunity to receive a number of activities that you can use in terms of laughter yoga. Can you describe a couple of those or take us through a couple of those?
Oh, absolutely. So the quick reminders that I'll give about laughter yoga is, one, you cannot do this wrong, so don't worry if you do it differently than we do it, it's fine. Two, if it hurts, stop. Right? If you're laughing and it's uncomfortable, go slower, go easier, take some deep breaths. Okay? And even just simply watching feels good. So if you're in a place where you're like, I'm really not going to laugh out loud right now, it's fine, it's all right, it's good. Watch again later and do it again later when you feel more comfortable doing it. Okay, so
Right.
let's just do giggle it out. So you're just going to take a deep breath in, deep breath out, deep breath in, hold it, hold it. Okay, now just giggle it out.
Oh.
Sometimes I lose myself in it. Right?
And then when you laugh, it's contagious and you can't stop laughing. Oh,
Beautiful. Okay. So let's do another one called fill the balloon. So we're just going to take your hands and you are going to fill up the balloon, but we're going to fill it up with laughter. So you're going to go, ha, ha, hee. And now we're going to squish the balloon and all the giggles are going to come out.
oh.
So the point of this is that you could do anything at all to make the laughter come. The laughter games are just a silly way to access them.
And how much laughter do you recommend a day for somebody?
Mm-hmm. So I think 20 minutes tends to be a really good sweet spot. What I will say is if you're not used to laughing for an extended period of time, it can feel really long to aim for 20 minutes, and it can be like a whole cardio workout. So I also tell people, do what feels good. If it hurts, stop, right? Like, and if you go much more beyond 20 minutes, 30 minutes, if you hit into like 50 minutes, you can kind of feel really lightheaded because you're doing a ton of deep breathing, which, if you feel like walking around lightheaded, I mean, I guess that's your choice. But I would err on the 20-minute tends to be really good. A lot of laughter yoga classes will go for about 30 minutes and have like a period at the end where it's like a laughter meditation where you laugh for 2, 3, or 5 minutes straight. And that can feel totally wild and fun. But normally you're sitting down or laying down so that you don't fall over from feeling lightheaded.
Probably a really good idea.
Yeah.
So if you were an educator and you wanted to apply this in a classroom with kids, how would you go about doing this? Because you might not be able to pull 20 minutes at a time. So what would you suggest for an educator?
Yeah, I think knowing classroom management is so important, whether you're with the kindergartners or you're with the 11th graders. I think the laughter works best as a transition tool. right? You tell everybody, you practice it beforehand. A laughter game is this. You can always end a laughter game with very good, yay! And then 3 big breaths to reset, and it settles everybody down. And then you can give that next, here's what we're doing next, or let's now go line up, or whatever. It's a really good transition tool. And when you've got the kids who are around and not really able to listen, not really attend in, if everybody starts giggling together for whatever reason, it's a great attention grabber. So you can tend to get the ones who are on the edge to kind of come in and then settle in after that.
Well, and I love that because you just kind of touched on a couple of really key things, I think, for educators in that there's that classroom management. And I think also the executive function that you're trying to help kids learn cognitive flexibility to be able to move into their line, the working memory and that inhibitory control, and knowing when it's appropriate to stop and when, or start and stop. And it sounds like you can do this in very short segments if you practice and teach it.
Absolutely. And I mean, emotional regulation, it doesn't have to always be like, here's the lesson on emotional regulation. This is it. This is that practice, right? Especially when you know their bodies are like going crazy, right? You can
Exactly.
do jellyfish laughter, right? You see they've got big body energy. You can tell they need to get it out, but you're not really going to PE next. You know, everybody stand up. I actually don't know where I came up with jellyfish laughter. I think it was like a conversation about jellyfish don't have bones. So would they move like this? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a jellyfish actually move like this, but that's
Right.
that's what we assume here in this household, that jellyfish dancing would look like this. And
I
so
love it.
you can have kids intentionally stand up or sit down if that's what they prefer. Again, can't do it wrong. And you do 20 seconds of jellyfish dancing and giggling at the same time. And then you can get some of that big body energy out. You can do some of that like intentional physical energy push out release, right? And then you can take the big breaths to kind of resettle and help them feel it. And you can describe in the moment, like, what did your body feel like when you're going like this? Does it feel like prickles and points and wiggles and giggles? And then when you sit down and you take those big breaths, are you feeling that shaking kind of calming down? That's what it means to come back. You could teach them the word grounded if that means something to them, or connected, whatever feels right for your age group, because I've never met any human who doesn't need more of this, no
Right.
matter how old they are. And what a fun way to do it, right? You don't have to be
Absolutely.
calm and quiet. Some people are really good at calm, quiet meditation. I've been trying for a lot of years and I'm still not good at that. This I can do. I can giggle and then breathe, and I think I get the same kinds of benefits.
So, Dr. Erica, that was a really good transition. And what I'm wondering is, how did you start on your own adventures in learning? I can't imagine you as a little girl thought, I'm going to grow up and be a play doctor. I'm going to teach people how to laugh. So, what was that transition? Tell us about your adventures in learning.
Yeah, so I got my graduate degree. I got my doctorate in applied developmental psychology. I really thought I was going to go in and support kiddos with autism for my whole career, and I've done that for a really long time, and I absolutely love it. But I had a baby, and when I had the baby, my commute got really bad, so I needed to change, and so I tried on some other roles and things like this. And then I got really burnt out. I didn't know about burnout. I didn't know about regulating my own stress. I had a lot of body pain I didn't understand. So I went on a health journey to figure out what in the world was happening. And ultimately, one day I was feeling really bad. And so I Googled something like how to feel better now. And the first thing that popped up was something called laughter yoga. And I said, no, there's no possible way that's real. So I had to Google it more because that's who I am. I'm a researcher at heart. And apparently it's very real. It's created by a doctor and used throughout the world. It's got these huge research studies that support it. Plus, just again, common sense wise, you understand laughing makes me feel better. So that's a pretty easy in for me. So I went down, I got certified with my sister, who is as silly as I am, and came back and realized that laughter could be one of the tools I use to get out of burnout. And as I was doing that, I already knew I wanted to start my business. And so I shoved them both together at the same time because I apparently never do one thing at a time. So I shoved them together, and I got my coaching certification. And I've been teaching kiddos since I was in high school, right? My mom had a dance studio, and I used to teach kiddos there, and I volunteered at my cousin's autism school. So I have been around kiddos and doing this for a long time, even without the words. But when I started the business, I said, no, I'm intentionally bringing this to the humans because it makes you feel so much better and it's so fast. And not only does it help the grown-ups, but the grown-ups can help the kiddos. And I didn't know what to do with my stress when I was a kiddo. I didn't have the words. I didn't know what to do. Um, and having the tools of even just being like, what is anxiety? That's a word. I didn't even know that was a word when I was a kid, right? And what does it mean for your body to feel funky? And what do you do with that? Like you could put it in your imaginary box and you can put it on the shelf and you can come back to it later if you want to. Like these tools I never had as a kid. I really love presenting them in a way that feels light and easy and they can access them when they need them.
So do you do, is it one-on-one consulting? Are you going to
Mhm.
classrooms? Tell us a little bit about where you
Mhm.
go to find people or what you do.
Yes, absolutely. I do a little bit of everything because that's who I am. So I do one-on-ones with parents and their kiddos. I'll do one-on-ones with just the parents because sometimes their stress is so big. Help manage that stress, get it to feel manageable, and then teach the tools which they can bring home. Right. Most of the times, anything I teach with a parent, they're just going to bring it home, and then their kiddos learn it from there. I also do laughter yoga classes online and in person. So if you need to know when the schedule is, you send me an email and I'll let you know when the next class is. And I am moving into doing larger in person workshops in my local area too, because it's just so silly to get together with a group of people and have the kiddos with you, and then everybody's just giggling and playing and talking about the topic at hand. So, whether that is how do you make play possible at home when you're all so busy all the time, right? And using stories either from your childhood or from books that you have at home to teach the things you want to teach, but not in a, okay, we're going to learn about this now. Now, can we make it a little bit more silly? We know kids access that information so much faster and it gets absorbed and coded so much faster when you can make it fun and silly and attached to something that feels good.
Well, and we certainly know that when we think about STEM and STEAM, that hands-on experiences connected to picture books, connected to
Mhm.
explanation and demonstration and meeting other people who are involved in that field, all of those things sort of help ground the knowledge. And
Mhm.
so it sounds to me like this is sort of one more layer that you're giving kids a way to be able to communicate and express themselves and get in touch with their deeper emotions.
Mhm. Absolutely. My son came home from school one day and he was like, we learned about the brain today, and this is something you told me. I was like, oh, cool. What in the world did I tell you? I talk about a lot of things. Tell me. He makes his hand like this and he's like, this is the brain. And he's telling me all the different parts. And he goes, and inside is the messy amygdala. I was like, wait, what? And he goes, the amygdala, it's the inside. That's the part with all the emotions and all the crazy feelings that I have. I was like, yeah, you're exactly right. So he's telling me all about what he learned at school, and he said something like, that time I was really angry about my probably got monster truck broke or something. I don't remember." He goes, "That was my amygdala yelling and screaming." And I was like, "You're right." And he's like, "So I did the big deep breaths like you told me, and it calmed it down." He's like, "That's what I gotta do." It's like, oh my gosh. Yes, your list it's getting in. Yes, absolutely. And he's like, I told my friends at school, take deep breaths. I was
Oh,
like,
I
oh, look at
love
deep
it.
breath. I was like, oh my gosh, it's working, right? Like all the things we're all doing, everything we're trying, it's working. Teaching him about the brain and giving him words for the different parts of his brain has helped him to see like it's real and it's actionable and you can have influence over it. It's not just a picture at school. So I loved the whole arc that happened
The
in
whole
that
thing
way.
connected. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love picture books. So I'm going to ask the question, are there
Yeah.
particular picture books you like to use when you're working with kids?
My favorite one is Pete and the Magic Sunglasses. Have you seen this one yet?
Oh,
It
yeah.
is so what I like the most about this one is, he goes through and he meets all of his different friends. He meets the Grumpy Toad and everybody else. So he walks around, he's got these big magic blue sunglasses. And he puts them on, and it changes the way that you see the world. And so he goes through and he meets the grumpy character, and he meets the sad character and the frustrated character. And I'm gonna pull the quote up because I love how he says it. Um, These cool blue magic sunglasses make the blues go away. They help you see the things in a whole new way. So then they put the sunglasses on and they say, "Ooh, the birds are singing, the sky is bright, the sun is shining, I'm feeling all right." So that alone, spectacular, right? At
Right.
the end, at the end, the glasses break. No, the drama, right? Then he looks at the wise owl and he goes, "Pete," I love how I feel the owl, right? You don't need magic sunglasses to see things in a new way. Just remember to look for the good in every day. And I think that laughter is the same thing as those glasses. It is a great priming mechanism. You laugh, and then the world looks different because you got your dopamine up, your cortisol's down. Like, it is the same thing. And I love to show them that you have magic sunglasses in you already in lots of ways, and one of them is laughter. So let's giggle a little bit, and then let's talk about how you feel, because I bet it's better than you felt before you started laughing. So
I
that is
love the
my number
idea that
one.
we have our own magic sunglasses and that's our laughter. That is so awesome.
Good stuff.
It really is. So, if you are a teacher who is facing burnout, and I think that that's probably one of the biggest issues facing education today is teacher burnout. Um, are there some, I know there's no quick fixes, but are there a
Mhm.
couple of things they could do just to shift gears and pull themselves out of that?
Yeah, I think as much as you can, depending on your situation and circumstance, even when you feel that really low, that really cranky, angry, sad feeling, and it's just so hard to figure out what to do, if you can come up with a phrase that feels even 3% true, that feels more empowering than the other things that are going through. "I hate this. This is ridiculous. Why do I have to do this? They're also blah, blah, blah." All of those, okay. But if you can find like a 3% truth phrase, for me during mine, it was, "This will pass." So I got a bracelet that said, "This will pass," just because I needed a physical reminder when I couldn't access it intellectually. I wore the bracelet all of the time and just, "This will pass. This will pass." And that felt at least 3% true. So I used that in combination with literally scheduled laughter. Because I wouldn't do it on my own otherwise, just like I wouldn't go to the gym and I wouldn't eat healthy food. I didn't do any of those things. Like that was too hard at that point. But I scheduled in laughter because I knew if I did it for 20 seconds that I could tell past Erica and future Erica that I tried, I showed up. I did what I needed to today. It's 20 seconds, it's giggling, I need no materials. I could do it in the bathroom, I can do it at home, I could do it when nobody's around, I could do it in the car, I could do it on a lunch break. Like, that was accessible to me. So I would encourage you to find a phrase that feels a little bit true and force yourself to laugh for 20 seconds if you have to. As you get out of that burnout feeling and that heaviness, you can access more, right? You can work on the good healthy foods if that feels right. You can move your body more if that feels right. You can reach out for help. There's so many humans who are helping people with burnout. You can find the right ones, whether it's a therapist or a coach or a mentor, wherever you're at, wherever your zone is, right? And then, as if the only thing you can access is your breath, just breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe. And that works too. Even if the laughter is too hard, the breathing will absolutely work.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us today. You've been listening to the 100th episode of the Adventures in Learning podcast. I would love it if you would give us a review, if you would share this with your friends, download, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you want to find more and learn more about what Dr. Erica Buchholz is doing, where do they find you?
It's becomingplayful.com. That's all. Nice and easy.
And Erica, would you lead us out with one more laughter exercise? Because that feels like it's the perfect way to end this episode.
Absolutely. So it's your 100th episode. So we're totally going to do confetti laughter, right? So just scoop up all the confetti that you have around. You have it everywhere. I know you do. Get some sparkle dust in there, get some glitter. Even if you'd hate glitter, it's fine. This is special disappearing glitter.
I was
So
going to say,
shove
well,
it all in there.
you don't have to clean it up.
Exactly. It's magical. Okay. So you're going to put it all in your hand. You're going to shake it 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna throw it and laugh. And all this happy confetti is falling on you, and it's everywhere. And yay!
Thank you so much.
You are welcome.